I, 25F, was in an on and off again casual relationship with Jeremy, 27M, for over 4 years. What I mean by that is we were never seriously dating, but we were exclusive. So no sleeping with others, and that wasn't because we were planning to be together at the end but to reduce the risk of STDs or pregnancies and paternity questioning. I had met his family a few times. They liked me, but I wasn't around them very much. Kinda the point of being casual and everything. Feelings did develop near the end of our on and off again period, and we broke up for real for 6 months. He told me he didn't want it to end. I wasn't sure he was serious enough about making a serious relationship work. I told him that I was open to one, but some of his actions made me doubt. 4 months ago he came to me and told me he had worked on himself and he was ready to be a true partner. We talked it out and we got back together for real this time. I spent some time around his family this time and we talked about the future and our goals. 2 months into our serious relationship, his ex, from before the start of our original relationship, announced she was pregnant and that the two of them had slept together while he and I were broken up for the 6-month period. He didn't deny it, but he said he didn't want her. It was blowing off steam one weekend, and how he was still committed to me and there would be nobody else ever because I was it for him. I told him I didn't want to be involved in a baby thing. That he was having a kid and I wasn't, and I was out. Since that point he has repeatedly tried to get me to change my mind. The mother of his child has tried to talk to me so she can yell about how unfair it is. And his family have begged me to come back, that they love me and never liked her, and how he and the baby need me and they don't want to be left dealing with the actual mother, and how good of a mom I would be. I was blocking people all over the place. But in the end I lost my temper and I set up a group chat with all of them on a different number and yelled in a voice message that I am not the mother of my ex's unborn child, and therefore I have nothing to do with this baby or the situation, and I won't take him back. I won't have anything to do with this, and if telling them all in one place needed to happen, then here it was. I stayed in the group for a few hours before growing tired of the mother of the child being outraged that I would speak to her like that, where my ex was pleading and saying I couldn't dump him when he didn't cheat, and his family saying how unfair I was being and how needed I was. Now I kinda regret doing it because I wonder if they'll actually leave me alone or still look for ways to contact me, and it might be more fissy than before. Comment 1. NTA girl would be playing mother while the bio mom is out living her best life. The dad is still acting like he don't have a child, and the family would be gaslighting you about how you need to step up more and be more involved. I am glad you saved yourself the headache. Do not go back. Comment 2. NTA. His actions have consequences. He had sex with his ex, that then resulted in a pregnancy. Why would you want anything to do with that mess? You'd be tied to that woman for life. Absolutely not. Also, he should get a paternity test. I would laugh if it turns out the baby isn't even his, but after his and his family's behavior you wouldn't even get back with him if that was the case. You don't want to deal with emotionally manipulative people. Comment 3. The whole exclusive but not dating thing sounds like a bit of a mind duck to me, but at the end of the day you're NTA. You're allowed to break up with someone whenever you want, and breaking up because you don't want to be involved in parenting before the kid's even born is best. Even if this guy turns out to be a shitty dad, you're likely going to get babysitting duties dumped on you, which is why his ex is trying to keep you around so much. Just leave the chat and keep them all blocked. You would be TA to yourself if you continued the drama. Story 2. My partner and I are getting married this summer, and we've decided to essentially elope. We're going to have a private ceremony, just the two of us, during our honeymoon. Not only does this align very much with who we are, so no one in our life is very surprised by this, but we're also doing it because, 1. Our families live scattered across the world and a larger event would mean leaving a lot of people out, and 2. We want to avoid drama. However, what we do want to do is get dressed up, take photos, and have a dinner together with our immediate families. So essentially, a micro non-wedding celebration. This is where the issues start. So I told my parents I wanted to have this small event with just them, my partner, and my sister, not including their new partners. My parents went through a nasty divorce when I was in my teens, and for several reasons that I explained to them, I wanted it an intimate event, just the five of us. My mom was fully supportive, saying she can understand why this would be so meaningful for me. My dad understood too. But he wanted me to be the one to break the news to his partner, 54F. I didn't think I had to, because it's not like I'm calling every single other family member who isn't invited to explain this decision. But I said that if she's upset, she's more than welcome to call me and we can talk about it. His partner is very sensitive, and we've clashed a lot over the years because I don't think she's ever been fully willing to understand the nuances of coming into a family after a divorce. Their relationship started shortly after the divorce, and she tried to parent both my sister and I, who were teens/preteens, from the get-go. But even though we're not close, I've done my best to otherwise be welcoming and kind. Well, now he's told her and all hell has broken loose. She's completely beside herself, and he wants me to mitigate the issue and reach out. I've reiterated that she's free to call me, if she can't possibly understand why this is about me and not her, and I can understand she's disappointed, but so is, I assume, everyone else, then she should reach out to me. Am I the a-hole for not inviting her, and for not breaking the news to her, and for refusing to be the first person to reach out here to resolve this? I can kind of see my dad's point, who says I should be extra mindful of her since she is a sensitive person who has had a hard time accepting we're not very close and takes this personally. However, at the same time, I don't think I'm responsible for her feelings or for cleaning up this mess. I also believe in the idea of my wedding, my choice. Comment 1. You state you want to avoid drama while acting in a manner that will clearly create some. These partners aren't new, it's 9 and 14 years. That's crazy to invite your parents and not their long-term significant others. I've never understood why people like you want to celebrate their marriage by so clearly disrespecting other people's marriages in the process. Your dad's partner's actions aren't okay either, but they pale in comparison to you. Comment 2. YTA. Just call her, this was your decision, you need to accept the consequences. You've upset someone that has been in your life for years and didn't even have the decency to do it yourself, you sent your dad to do it. She's your dad's partner, not some distant relation you won't see again for years. You might want to think about having a second dinner after this family one, with partners included. Comment 3. Personally, I think it's rude for you to invite your parents and not their partners. You say you want to avoid drama, but that can't be true because I don't understand how making a decision like this is supposed to invite anything else but drama. You're having a family event and not inviting family. Personally, I don't get it. Story 3. So, I work at a 5-star hotel and more than a month ago, a woman came to the lobby at around 2200 hours and asked if she could stay for a while inside. She was presentable and polite, so we agreed. At around 4 a.m., she left. The day after, she came back with the same request and again we allowed her to stay and sleep for a while, until she left at around 5 a.m. This kept on repeating for the next days and she started coming earlier, asking for food and drinks from the bar, and staying until later and asking for breakfast in the morning. We got a warning from our supervisors saying that this cannot keep on happening, and the next day when she came again, 3 weeks after her first appearance, we had to kick her out at around 2 a.m. However, she kept on coming every day. She has now been coming to the hotel every night for 5 weeks straight, where she has asked more than once if she could shower in one of the rooms, storage her heavy bags which she carries every night, and even paid for a room, more than $200 per night, in one of the nights. We have offered to help her several times, giving her recommendations for homeless shelters and the like, but she keeps on denying. The reception team has even offered to get her a room at a cheap hotel, to which she says no, and she claims to have no friends or family that can help her. The part I cannot understand is, she always has clean clothes, smells nice and is polite. She often uses her MacBook and iPhone at the reception and has never disturbed anyone. I know from a logistics point of view, we can give her shelter and leftover food, but it's part of the hotel's policy that no one can sleep in the lobby, not even guests. In the last few times we had to kick her out, she complains that no woman should be left alone in the streets at night, and it really makes me feel like an asshole to ask her to leave. So, edit, I should add that she is very likely to have a mental illness. Her speech is incoherent, she has told different versions of her story several times and is very often confused. Comment 1, NTA. Your boss has given you all clear warnings to not allow this woman these accommodations any longer. In this economy, do not jeopardize your own job by disobeying your boss. What's that saying about not lighting yourself on fire to keep others warm? This woman has refused the resources you all tried to steer her to. And, given her luxury goods, there is a deeper story to her than just what it looks like on the surface. You do not want to lose your job over this. Comment 2. NTA. You've done as much as you possibly could. You and your co-workers have tried to give her various options in which she declined. All of you have gone above and beyond. You had no choice but to ask her to leave based on the hotel policy that you work at. I hope she takes you all up on an offer at some point. Comment 3. NTA. I don't mind helping people out, but once they start taking advantage of that, it's done. When I worked at Waffle House, it was a homeless guy that would come up there a lot. Mind you, he was banned technically, but he'd always come in and ask for something. Last time I saw him, I told he knew he wasn't supposed to be in here. We'd just had this conversation the week prior. This man looks me in my face and says that wasn't me, that was probably somebody that looked like me. Story 4. My husband booked a course for the Friday plus Saturday of Easter weekend without realizing his mother's birthday fell on Easter Sunday. Fast forward to March, I realized the dates all lining up and was trying to find a solution for him to do his 2-day course, fit in an Easter dinner, a birthday dinner, and when the Easter bunny comes for our 2 young kids, 3 and 5, my in-laws live 2.5 hours away, and there is no way I can let my kids do a chocolate egg hunt, have chocolate for breakfast and put them in the car for almost 3 hours wired for us to visit his mom on Sunday on her birthday/Easter. I suggested we will do my family's dinner on Saturday, then Sunday do Easter morning for the kids and invite his family to come to us for brunch so my kids' naps and sugar crashing can be dealt with accordingly. He agreed on the plan, then last week he tells me he forgot to invite his family here for Sunday and now his mom is expecting us there Sunday. I said, well then we have to do Easter morning with the kids on Saturday then, but you have your course, don't you want to be here for that experience with the kids? And he said yes, so he will cancel the course, and since it's enough notice we'll get refunded the cost. Now a week before Easter being today, I'm on the computer with his emails open and I see that he just submitted the confirmation that he will be attending the course next weekend. So I know come Thursday he's going to lie and say he couldn't get his money back, etc. Knowing how this is all going to go, we have been together for 18 years, I'm ready to tell him that the kids and I will not be going to his parents' house on Sunday and we can visit the weekend after when we have less things going on. Edit to add, my mother-in-law knows about the course he is on Friday and Saturday and knows the only day we have together as a family is Sunday, but still expects us there. Didn't ask what our plans were and if we would be able to come, just said Easter and my birthday dinner is at 4 on Sunday, see you guys then. Comment 1. I would print the confirmation email and highlight the dates. Just keep it until he lies, then wordlessly plop that paper down and walk away. Regardless, do what works for you in this situation. He lost the opportunity to plan this as a team. Comment 2. NTA, but your husband's lack of personal responsibility and honesty, it would seem, is going to continue to put you in these awkward situations, especially now that you have kids. In this instance at least, he has made commitments everywhere that he is not equipped to juggle and then making you do the juggling for him. If that is a pattern with him, that will get old fast, if it isn't already. The fact that he doesn't seem willing to prioritize time with his young kids on Easter is also a concern. That's not something most people with young kids would want to give short shrift to, as it's actually fun even though it's a lot of work. I, 29F, lost my mom when I was very young, 4, and my dad met the mother of my half-sister when I was 8. They had my half-sister together and married when I was 10. When I was 13 my dad died. I chose to live with my grandparents and had regular contact with my half-sister, but I did not keep in touch with her mom. My half-sister had her own phone since she was young, so I didn't see a need to have contact with her, and I was never fond of her mom to begin with. I always found her annoying and frustrating to be around. I used to stress being around her because when she'd offer to help Dad out with me, she would make me late for everything, even school. It was never something she took seriously though, and Dad had to stop her helping out. But it bothered her more that I was so glad she wasn't doing it too. She'd complain about my friends' parents not treating her like my legit parent. I was stuck in a car with her for 40 minutes while she complained about some of them. She said I could start calling her my stepmom instead of Dad's girlfriend, which she was by the way, so they'd take her more seriously. Her mom was upset by the fact I didn't like her or want to stay in touch with her. She tried to keep me with her and my half-sister after Dad died, but plans were already in place to instruct where I'd go, who would have custody if Dad were to die. It upset my half-sister as she got older that I didn't remember much about my mom, and yet I wouldn't let her mom be my mom even once I became an orphan. Eventually we came to an agreement that we didn't have to be on the same side of the debate, but we just wouldn't talk about it. Now my wedding has presented a chance for my half-sister to push the narrative that her mom somehow has this important role in my life and that she should walk me down the aisle since she's the only parent I have left, in my half-sister's mind. I shut that down hard. My half-sister pushed the issue more. She told me I have no valid reason for saying no. I explained that I don't need one. That it's my wedding and her mom isn't even invited. My half-sister said she should be, and she bitched that I put her boyfriend's name on the invite instead of just a regular +1, because she would have brought her mom, and her mom would have been there and I would have needed to give her the role. I explained even if she'd done that, her mom would have been an unwanted guest and not a parent of the bride, and would have had zero role. She has refused to lay off, so I warned her that if she continues I won't invite her to the wedding. My half-sister told me I couldn't leave her off the guest list, and I told her I could and would. I reminded her this is my wedding and not hers, and she doesn't automatically get an invite. She's saying I'm a cold-hearted bitch and my threat is unfair when she's doing the right thing. I told her we disagree on that. She said this whole issue is my fault and not hers.